Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome to our webinar. Today, you will learn how Grace Hill's Reputation Builder can help you monitor, protect, and improve your company's online reputation to give you a competitive advantage. But here are a few reminders before we begin. This webinar will be recorded and shared with you via email. All attendees are in listen-only mode. Now I'm going to turn the time over to AJ Rao, our VP of Product Development for Grace Hill, and he's going to provide us with more information and introduce our other speakers. Take it away, AJ.
Thanks, Lynn. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for joining. We are really excited to talk to you about reputation management through Reputation Builder. And I'd love to introduce my esteemed colleagues, Tim Griffin and Kevin Mosteller. Tim is a Director of Account Management at Grace Hill and oversees a lot of our products and client interactions. Kevin is a Senior Product Manager, and the main reason why all of you are here, because he's going to take us for a test drive of Reputation Builder. So we are really excited to talk to you all about reputation management. We have this new offering, and we'll cover some of the features that we have within our product suite. Reputation Builder itself is a very comprehensive one-stop shop for you to manage your online reputation. And Kevin will take us for a test drive of the product in a few minutes. So we don't have too many slides. We'll definitely try to get to the demo as quickly as possible. But yeah, we can jump in. And I've been with the Kingsley survey product for over 17 years now, and both Tim and I come from that background, and we survey over 6 million residents and prospects every single year, and we collect some really actionable content for our clients to act upon from an operations point of view. But we also generate a wealth of authentic review content for our clients' marketing teams to help promote their communities. Kevin, if you don't mind, if we can go to the next slide. So we have a number of opportunities to take that content from our residents and prospect surveys and try to push that out to various sites and listing sites and make sure that that review content gets visible. Tim, can you talk a little bit about what you've heard from our clients in terms of these tools and how they see reputation management?
Yeah, happy to. I mean, obviously, online reputation is more important than ever these days. I don't think I'm telling anyone anything new here. The number of prospects that are going to the internet and these review sites has just skyrocketed. And, everyone wants to ensure that they have the best possible content out there. And, then having a tool that allows them to manage all of those sites, the Googles, apartments.com, Yelp, all of them, all from a single platform just makes life easier. And, what I've heard for clients for years now is, it ties in, this whole reputation management piece so nicely with what we're doing on the customer experience on the Kingsley Surveys product. We're already taking the content, the reviews that we're generating from the surveys themselves and directly feeding them over to sites like apartments.com and apartment ratings and redirecting residents over to Google. Because what we tend to see from the survey reviews is they're much more positive than what's out there in the online world. So it really behooves you to start getting that content from the surveys out there in the online world. And now what we're looking to do is really monitor everything, not only customer experience, but all things online reputation, all from a single platform. And, there's a number of advantages there. I'd say, one, obviously it just makes life easier on your team. They've already got dozens of websites to log into every single day, and having a single platform to manage everything just makes it easy. Two, I'd say it allows you to quickly pinpoint differences, property by property, between what your actual customers are saying and then what's out there on these various review sites and social sites. And so you can, quickly see where the gaps are. And, this property, has fantastic Kingsley survey scores, but it's not looking so hot on Google. So let's, start redirecting residents over to Google. Or you have the next property where, Google, things are looking pretty good, but Apartments.com, not so much. So let's start feeding reviews over there. So having that side-by-side comparison, I think is really beneficial. You know, 3, the ability to bundle products. You know, at Grace Hill, obviously we do policies, we do training, mystery shops, surveys, and now, you know, online reputation. So if you're using us for any of those products, you probably get you a pretty good deal here on the reputation management piece. And then, you know, we really did our homework on this product, and we feel that it's the Cadillac of the reputation management tools out there. You know, we talk to our clients about the tools that they're using, what they like, what's missing, and we feel like this is a fairly comprehensive solution.
Yes, that's absolutely right. You know, as we've heard from a lot of our clients, like reputation management isn't only about managing your reviews, right? There are so many critical factors that impact your reputation, and you've got to keep track of all of it. And it's very fluid; it changes all the time. So you want it to be easily accessible and easily digestible. So, you know, we really feel like Reputation Builder, like you said, is a Cadillac. It checks all of those boxes. You can obviously manage your reviews. You can track your social media activity and publish through your social media feeds. You can keep track of all your listings and make sure that all that information is accurate out there. And most importantly, you want to know how you benchmark against your competitors. I mean, we're all about benchmarking, as you know. So it's really important for us to be able to see how our clients' competitors are doing and how they're performing against them. And then making sure that all that data is in an easily consumable format. So, you know, we have some really nice reporting and analytics tools that help you consume that information and act upon it across various levels of your organization. And as you see out here, you know, we have integrations with all these major sites. So being able to track all this information across these different sites, access it in a single dashboard, and really just make it easy for your teams to use is so important. So I'd love to turn it over to Kevin to kind of take us for that test drive through Reputation Builder and show everyone what it is.
Awesome. Thanks so much, AJ. Excited to show you guys a demo today of the Reputation Builder platform. So I'm going to switch screens here and pull up the actual demo and jump right into it. Still sharing my screen here. Cool. So we are going to be walking through, like I said, a demo of our platform, lots of different tabs and features that AJ and the team were just speaking to. So we're going to walk through all those different features and functionality of the dashboard today. Please encourage questions through the chat. We want to make sure we get to all those. Obviously, this is being recorded. We'll send it to you afterwards as well. So this is more or less our homepage. Once we click on the actual Kingsley portal, it brings you into our Reputation Builder platform. So inside of our snapshot tab is your first tab you land on, more or less your homepage. From the snapshot tab, there's some simple action buttons and some reports that we can look at, like the number of reviews, some of the search analytics, the listings and the rankings. But over here on the far right is your LBB score. So for this demo, we wanted to pull in 18 actual properties to this demonstration, which you can see we have 18 here. We'll be playing around with the actual drop down for different locations throughout the demo, but the LBB score is a branded score from Grace Hill. This is your local brand visibility score. This is going to be an aggregate score of some of the most important metrics that go into your reputation management score. And things like that are going to be your social data, your reviews, your listings, your search analytics, as well as your competitors. So at all times, think of it more almost like a FICO score, your homework score, or another example. We want to make sure we are monitoring this, not just from a overall basis. Say if I'm a certain property and I've got 18 of my locations or properties in here, but I want to make sure I'm monitoring each one of those as well. So we can do a a side-by-side comparison report for those different properties and understand what's actually going into those scores. It does fluctuate over time. So things of like responding to reviews and cleaning up your social data or your listings and see how you rank against competitors all goes into your score. So we can kind of show you some of that, those pieces throughout the demo as well. The map, pretty self-explanatory. We have 17 locations in California, another location over here in South Carolina. Click on the map, it gives you a simple update for the average number of reviews as well as the actual rating. So that is more or less the homepage. Let's jump into the reviews tab, which is going to be a lot of meat and potatoes from this demo today. Lots of reporting and functionalities we can kind of look at. So when it comes to the review data, AJ mentioned them before, lots of different providers we're looking at when it comes to reputation management. Your providers are here, so you can always break it down to understand, okay, instead of overall, what are my individual contributions to each one of my properties when it comes to these actual providers here. So that's one way to filter it. But you will notice 4 different charts and graphs from this page, and we'll touch on each of these here in a sec. So the first one, review counts and average ratings. Pretty self-explanatory, shows you the number of reviews as well as the average rating for these properties on a given month. We also have the filter up here as last 3 months. We can change this to anything you like. We do pull in all-time reviews. So the property's very first review that one, I guess, company's ever received, we will pull those in the dashboard as well. We also can separate this out to like 6 months, for example, show you more data on the page. Your overall details, this is going to be you. This first 2 columns are going to be the date range I selected, as well as our all-time average, and then also our local competitor average, as well as the same date range for all these shows and actual the all-time. The reason that's important, within this dashboard, we're always pulling in competitor details. We want to make sure we're benchmarking ourselves against local competitors in your town that might have the same Google category as you. If you're a property and you got another property right across the street and you're sitting there at a 3.0 as an average star rating, is that good? In the minds of an average, it might be bad, right? 3.0 out of 5. But if you pull in the all-time average for your competitors, you're at a 3.5 for competitor information. So now we're a whole half a star off when it comes to local search. When it comes to somebody typing in property near me, senior living near me, multifamily near me, whatever it might be, we want to be able to pull up, are you doing better than your local competitors? There is a way to always change your competitor information, and I'll jump into my account settings and just show you that real fast. It is a very big competitive piece of our dashboard. We always want to make sure we're monitoring competitors, but you can always edit competitors as you go on. So we have this one location, our dashboard, the only vendor in the world that'll pull in different competitor information based on criteria that we're giving it, like Google category. The user, of course, always has ability to add and edit these actual competitors. You get up to 5, but it's based on a 15-mile radius on the same Google category. So if your Google category is apartments or I guess senior living or whatever, you can go in and add new competitors, but you can also edit them as you go on. So big selling piece, big competitive advantage on our part as well. So let me go back to the reviews. I can also show you, so that was a group comparison. Let's do a single comparison, which is also really fun to look at. So we can look at a single property. Instead of the local competitor average, we can do a single store class, or I guess location by location comparison. So not a ton of reviews, but you get the idea. You can go in and say, okay, my one property for Vintage Ridge apartment wants to compare to Quail Run apartments here. We can always pull up that. So now you're doing a 1-to-1 ratio instead of yourself against 5 averages. So just one more thing to add, just another way to kind of separate the data out and look at what we have on the page here. Let's do a couple more for, so on this actual chart and graph, what's important, we've talked about overall rating. We're also pulling in a number of reviews responded to, and the biggest thing we always want to pay attention to is our response rate. Responding to reviews is a very large way that these apartment facilities are going to be ranked higher than competitors. We want to make sure we have a good response rate. We're responding to not just negative but also positive reviews. So sitting at 12%, not very good. These locations obviously have lots of room for improvement. This, of course, is a demo environment. We want to encourage responding within the dashboard, which I'll be able to show you as we jump into our reviews. You also get things like 1- and 5-star ratings. A couple more charts here. Review sentiment. This is more or less your review rating. You have 87 positive reviews, 88 negative reviews, and 5 neutral reviews, which would obviously be a 3-star rating. And then AJ mentioned before, lots of providers we're monitoring within the dashboard. We're also able to, with our Tier 1 partnerships, respond to reviews in the dashboard as well. So ReviewBuilder has the ability to enter in external credentials and actually respond to Google, to Yelp, the Apartment Guide, to the Facebook ratings. All that information can be collected inside the dashboard, so you can actually respond within the dashboard, which I'll show you in a second as well. But what you're seeing here, different providers, Lots of different custom providers too, if they're out there. We can always add them if they have the right API connections. And then one more filter at the top. This is your ratings. So if you're just focused on certain star ratings or recommended, which is Facebook recommendations, positive or negative, thumbs up, thumbs down type of thing. Maybe some of you on the phone might know, Facebook went to that model about 1.5 years ago, and now we're tracking that in the dashboard as well. So that being said, jumping over to the reviews tab. Let's jump into the actual reviews we have for the dashboard. So we're not just collecting star ratings and actual feedback of thumbs up, thumbs down. We are pulling in the real reviews for these locations. And with our direct partnerships, there are ways to interact with the data that we're getting from these actual properties. Same filters as before, you get the providers, you get your date range, you get your ratings. There are more advanced filters in here as well. So for the criteria that we just searched, we have 186 reviews that have been found. There's also now ways to advanced filter these actual reviews with responses, without responses, any type of notes that might have been created that are internal notes, revised reviews. Those are really cool. So you get a negative review, you go online, you're able to fix that review very, very quickly. The person goes in and edits their original review. We will show you in the dashboard the differences from the first review versus the second review and what changes have happened. That's the biggest way to increase review responding and also increase star ratings. On average, 33%, if you're able to respond to a review within 24 hours, that original person will change their review. So definitely focused on the negative ones. So if we can start swindling people from a 3-star to a 4-star or even better, 1-star to a 3 or a 4, that's going to be huge advantageous to your company. More filters in here. We have tags we can actually do. We have removed reviews. They might have been deleted or filtered out by Google or Facebook. There might have been some profanity in there, or maybe it was just deleted. We can still track deleted reviews as well. And then filtered is going to be Yelp. Any filtered reviews at the bottom of Yelp pages, you might see some of these. There's one reason or another, Yelp filters reviews. It might have been the very first person somebody's ever responded or left a review. So we're going to track that information in the dashboard also. I see a couple of messages coming through. Any questions, AJ or Tim, that I'm not seeing?
I'll answer them, Kevin. I think you've been covering it all so far.
Cool. Right on. Cool. So we're going to go through a couple of exercises of actually interacting with the reviews that we're getting. So again, 186 reviews found. There are ways to interact with the data. So simple examples could be something like, we got some good ones down here, right? So let's go. Here's a pro from Google. Long review. Someone left you a 3-star rating. This is from KK. So you get the idea. Lots of good and positive things from this review, but there's also some things that are negative. And our system is tracking what the positives are and what the negatives are by these little people, the con, the consideration, this little management. Those are keywords that are being taken out, which we'll show you in our sentiment tool. But more or less, the ways to interact with the review is simply click right here. You can say, thank you for positive review. That's the first way. That's a very simple response. You get the idea. You can literally start clicking and typing in right here to this review to start responding to this review out there on Google that was left on May 4th. The second way is to drop in a template. Templates are really cool within our dashboard. We encourage templates. We have a large list of predetermined templates that we can help our customers use as well. But the idea of a template is to actually use them with predefined verbiage from your company that's been approved. This is some languages that's been approved by your team. Maybe it's a certain look and feel the way you're responding to your customers. So we want to be able to put that information in here as well. What you're seeing from customer first name, that's called a merge code field. We're able to input merge codes from these different reviews, as well as first name, last name, business name, phone number. So we can actually edit what the actual template looks like to make it look and feel like it's a custom response. The reason that's important is we can drop in dozens of different templates in here. So you can have some for positive, you can have some for neutral, some for negative. Maybe there's an escalation one or something that's mentioning the facilities. You can have a facility template. Whatever it might be, you can actually upload your templates. Very quick and easy. Any user that has access to templates can go in here and edit their templates. The idea here is to add them and I guess rank them, whether it's going to be neutral, positive, or negative. So very cool, powerful feature. Lots of our clients are using that today. That's the second way to respond. The third way is to use our bulk tool. So you see there we have a single review. We also can respond to multiple reviews. The idea here is to set your filters. So a simple exercise would be, show me all the reviews that are positive. So you can go in here and go ratings. You can go 4 and 5 star. Show me also another advanced filter that has no responses. So show me all the reviews that have no responses that are positive. Then we can go in and we can drop in our templates that we've just created, 1 and 2. We can add up to as many as you like, but the idea would add up to maybe 5, and you can automatically rotate through those templates after you apply all with those filters that we just created. It's going to automatically rotate, which is another competitive advantage. Our dashboard is the only vendor in the world that does that, automatically rotate through those templates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to respond to hundreds of reviews very, very quick, very, very fast, very, very easy within the dashboard. So it's a very simple exercise. Our clients are using this today. Very quick, some positive feedback, obviously, of being, wow, I just responded to hundreds of reviews within a few clicks of the mouse for all the reviews that have never been responded to, for all the reviews that are positive. And we get that question a lot of, well, I have too many reviews, Kevin. I'm never going to be able to respond to that many. Well, within this tool, within this dashboard and tools like that, you're able to do it for hundreds of properties, for hundreds of reviews, very quick, very easy. No more being managed by multiple people. Like one person can literally spend a few minutes a day or a few minutes a week responding to reviews within the dashboard using tools like this. It just makes it very, very quick, very, very fast and easy to do it. So I know that was a long stint of reviews and responding and filters. I'll pause there. AJ, Tim, any questions coming in, or anyone got a question? This would be a good time to ask about reviews before we move on.
Well, Kevin, we also have the ability to set up user permissions, right? So, if you have, review responses managed from a central location, like if your marketing team and you have a marketing manager who's in charge of reputation management, it all funnels through them. You can definitely set it up so that they're the only ones who can respond to reviews, and you can have other layers or levels of access within your organization who can see all of the reviews and the responses, but don't have the permission to actually respond.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great question. That's called user roles with role hierarchy. So what we could also do is you can have a submit for approval. So say I'm an admin, or maybe I'm just a basic standard user. So I want to go and create a response, but instead of submitting it online to those actual directories that have the reviews, I can submit it for approval. That way it's going to go to my boss or my marketing manager, somebody else who has ability to go in and actually click for submit for approval, but also approve that review. But you also can go in, you can edit, or you can delete it, or you can add notes and say, bad response, try again. Something basic like that.
Great. I know you touched upon sentiment analysis. I know we have some excitement building up for that.
Oh yeah, I kind of built it up because that was a really fun tab, one of my favorite tabs on the dashboard. So actually, let me go one more thing since we're here. Let's show you a store comparison report. There are store comparison reports, or we call them location comparisons for different properties all throughout the dashboard. We have one for LBV, we have one for reviews, we have one for Pulse, we have one for social, right? So every tab has these different comparisons. I won't show you all of them, but this is just a simple one for location comparison, basically comparing each one of your properties and going, okay, according to my star rating, what's my favorite property? Who's got the top star rating, right? The idea here is to benchmark your locations against other locations that you have in the dashboard, and then also pull in competitor information. You can pull in review counts, which responding do you have, right? Someone's really good at responding, but maybe your other properties are not. You can track all that information. Lots of these little download buttons throughout the dashboard as well, where you can actually download these reports, bring it to a CSV file outside the dash if you're ever interested in doing that. So quick there. Let's skip social real fast, only because Pulse is the reviews. We'll come back to social after I show you our sentiment analysis tool, which is super fun. Like AJ was talking about, this is one of my favorite tabs in the dashboard. Lots of data in here that we can look at. So let's look at the last 12 months, for example. This is your first summary page, and we call Pulse our sentiment analysis. This is more or less your sentiment around, I know I'm getting positive and neutral and negative reviews, but what about those reviews are positive, neutral, and negative? So this is going to show you on a scale, 1 is negative, 2 is neutral, 3 is positive, where some points of interest might have been. Your average sentiment is your orange line. So it stays pretty flat, but it is kind of squiggly throughout time. Then we get these other marks of, well, high point of interest, high volume of reviews, might have been a negative point of interest against sentiment towards our locations. And we see this happening a lot where a pool might close, for example, right? So maybe somebody had an accident in the pool and they're like, oh my God, the pool's disgusting, pool's so gross, management never takes care of the pool. That's going to be a lot of mentions about a certain point of interest of pool. And that is what this one page is showing you. Also, sentiment distribution over time, showing you some positive, neutral, negatives over time across your different properties of what's hot, what's cold. So to go into the actual Sentiment Explorer, this is where we're going to be able to pull out individual topics, categories, and sentiment around your individual property. So this wheel looks pretty scattered, lots of information on here, but we can dive into it to show you more information. So the idea is to start on a certain category. First one could be experienced. We got 206 mentions and an average sentiment of 1.78 for the keyword topic of experience. Now we have the experience pretty split. Management, lots of red for management. So on a high level, what does that tell you? We might have a problem with our management or even our staff, right? Maybe our facilities are really nice and clean, but these two are going to be in your management, and your staff might have some negative sentiment towards them. So let's just click on management because they're fun to look at. And you get the idea. 3/4 of this wheel is now red. So management is difficult. Management is new. Management is not helpful. Management is lazy. So the idea is to pull out certain sentiment details around an actual topic. You do have store comparisons for this as well, but the idea is, if you scroll down, we can get some certain mentions about the management staff that might be positive, neutral, or negative. And obviously some of these are pretty negative. The idea here is to actually expose the entire review. This is a really good review. They're giving you some pros. Pros like it's clean. Staff like Manager Ruben are very friendly. They maintain their actual cleanliness of their place. But management needs to be more responsive to rental prices they charge. So they're showing you within the dashboard that is a neutral statement. Our system is doing this for you automatically. So the dashboard automatically determines whether a review is positive, neutral, or negative, not just on the star rating. It's actually the keywords that make up that review. And obviously there's lots of parts of this review that are both positive, neutral, and negative, but we're pulling out this one sentence that might be neutral. Our system does this automatically for you, day in, day out. We get it right about 95% of the time. It is an AI tool. It is learning as you interact with it, which means you have the ability to update. So if you ever wanted to go in here and go, you know what, that's not neutral, that's a negative statement. So you can go in and you can change it to negative. And now we're at 100% match, right? If you start changing all of them or some of them that you might think are maybe neutral or positive or negative, our system's going to learn very quickly that that's a negative or a neutral statement. But I'll change it back because it's more of a neutral. So that's one piece. Second piece, if you can look at this little chart again, click to go back. All you gotta do is click the wheel. It does spin, which is super cool. These categories, these topics, these conversations are predefined in the dashboard. However, that is what people are actually mentioning and talking about for your brand or your property. There's no reason to really customize that too much other than search capabilities. So we do have searching as well. So down here, if you want to type in something simple like COVID, look at all the mentions that might actually mention the keyword COVID. Obviously, you get some really positive, some really negative reviews towards COVID, some certain things of whether they're looking at this thing seriously, with all the amenities, stuff like that, right? So this obviously is a demo environment, so lots of different reviews coming in for different properties. But the idea for your company, your properties, is able to put the reviews in this dashboard. And I've had some clients that log in, they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that my facilities were being talked about so negatively until I had this dashboard. It's hard to actually read every single one of your reviews like that. But if you wanted to look back and go, how is my pool doing? And you know what, 75% of my reviews have negative sentiment towards the keyword pool, whereas internally you might have thought, wow, I thought my pool was in excellent condition. I thought everybody loved the pool, when really it might not be the case. So I'll pause there. I know it's a pretty cool tab. AJ, any questions?
Yeah, so Kevin, just to clarify, like most of these pages that you're covering, we can export any of that data and generate reports from it, but we also have some reporting tools that allows you to compile data from various pages out here and have that available as a comprehensive report, right?
Correct. Yeah, we have our analytics tab, which is our last tab we will talk about, but there are some advanced reportings that we'll be showing you later in the demo. But correct also, yes, we can download any type of review, any type of pulse data. It's all downloadable through the dashboard also. Cool, good question. Let's jump into social. So that's a good, same thing as before. I'm not going to go into it again because it's very similar as before, but for comparison report, same as reviews, same as LBB score. You do get comparisons for each one of your locations based on the sentiment details. So social for properties. This is pretty cool. So we have social ability for monitoring and publishing within the dashboard. So there's ways to, first is look at your summary of going, okay, how many pages are being followed? How many pages are being published? What my average LBV score is? What your total engagement might be? We also have things like top performing posts, provider breakdowns, which might be how many posts am I doing per page for Facebook, for Instagram. There are 5 social sites we're monitoring and publishing within this dashboard today. We have Facebook, we have Google question and answer, as well as Google posts. We have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter. So those are the 5 that we have in the dashboard. Once we look at activity, this is going to be the activity that's actually happening against each one of your properties. So if you're doing social posts today, we're going to be pulling those into the dashboard. Even if you're not doing them from this page, we can actually pull in all posts, all comments, all trending activity against each one of your properties. So what this actually looks like is you click on this, looks like they're advertising some coconut custard rice cakes. And you get the idea. You can actually start looking at some of the responses, any type of feedback you might have gotten, positive, neutral, or negative. There is ability to also comment. Looks yummy. If you publish that, that'll submit a comment to this post. That is our social commenting tool. So built in the dashboard, built in the platform, part of our publishing package, ability to comment, like, and interact with certain posts. There's also the ability to make certain publishing details and publish posts out to these different directory sites. So the first idea you want to start with is create a new post. Very simple, very easy. You can say, Happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day. And you can add a photo if you like. So if you have any images you want to upload, you can share those across users. You want to pick the directory that you're actually making this post for. Maybe it's going to be a Facebook page. You want to go ahead and click Facebook. You also want to select which locations you're using. You could also do a group of locations or multiple locations at any time if you like. You can publish now, which would post it today at this time, or you can schedule. The idea for scheduling it later, you can build up your activity maybe for Monday morning. You're going to make a whole 2 weeks worth of posts within a few minutes and schedule these out maybe for every other day so that, you know, in 2 weeks, you don't have to do this anymore. You would just do it for those 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks from Monday, you would create more. The idea here is you can go, okay, this is going to be for tomorrow. It's going to be at noon, and I'm going to go and schedule that. That's for Facebook. You can then do another one, maybe for Google. Google is interesting. We have Google question and answers as well as Google posts available within our social tool. So questions: are masks required during touring your property? That's a question. Yes, they are still required due to rules. Publish. That's going to make a question against your individual Google My Business page. Very good way to implement certain keywords, certain attributes, positive, neutral, negative, whatever. Hey, do you guys have a pool? Yes, we have the best pool in town. Come take a look at our pool. It's super warm, it's heated, it's delicious, whatever, right? So you're making a post against certain keywords in SEO that's going to be tracking against your question and answer. Same thing for posts. These are going to be COVID updates. What's your latest status? These are call to action buttons. Something like book now. Are you guys still open due to COVID? Yes, we are. Book, order now, sign up, call. Certain offers as well. These are going to be like 7-day offers. So like 20% off of our actual locations if you sign up now for your first month. What's new? This is, again, something that's happening. Just more details around Google. But we have these partnerships. They're very, very nice and easy to work with that we can actually publish and post and schedule out posts within our social tool. So that's social. Same thing as before, store comparison, but again, different details for maybe a later time. And then we also have providers and all these different filters. I see more questions coming through the chat or just people chatting.
Yeah, I think there was a question about whether any of these social posts can be scheduled or if it's.
Yep, that was exactly what I was just showing before. Yep, so instead of publishing now, you go here, publish later. You can schedule it for Friday at 9 a.m. So that would be a scheduling tool.
And Kevin, there was a question about whether it's you get recommended not to respond in bulk or have the same types of responses. So just going back to reviewed responding, I think that's part of the templates, offering up different templates and making sure that those are refreshed frequently so that there is that authenticity built into that, but also efficiency in responding, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I have some clients that have 15 templates for positive, another 10 for neutral, and 15 for negative. And yes, to your point, you do want to keep refreshing those. But the idea is if you have enough templates and you have enough locations out there online or different properties, that if I'm looking for a certain place to rent an apartment, I'm not going to be clicking on another state in Texas where I might have the same response. So if I've got scattered out properties, it's okay to have the same response because it's not going to be like, oh, that person's responding with the same answer every single time. If you have enough templates, it will rotate them through. And the idea is that they won't be able to be seen across different users when they're doing a generic search for apartments near me, stuff like that. But yeah, good question. Cool, so we've covered snapshot, reviews, social, and pulse. Let's jump over to these last 4 tabs here. Media is only gonna take a second. Media is tracking certain images we have online against certain locations. The idea here is to pull up the image where it is on Google. Looks like some no photos are being added for Bing, but there's different criteria we can actually filter by. So neutral, positive, negative. There's also certain providers. So if you just want to look at like Facebook media, for example, you can do that. And you get the idea, you pull up some Facebook media. You can filter these as well for positive, neutral, or I guess positive, negative, and star. So if you wanted to say this is a good image, maybe use this for a later time for marketing or whatever it might be. You also can favorite it, which will put an internal directory on it as well, which is your options to save. And there's also search capabilities as well. So just like before, I want to type in pool and show me all the images that might contain a pool. We're going to start getting some of these that are from the actual properties themselves. Some of these are stock images like on apartments.com. We're getting the stock image from their profile, but we're also tracking user posted images. So if someone left a negative image against a pool on a Yelp listing or a Yelp page or a review, we can pull that in and we can, I guess, associate that one image to the negative review that we're just receiving. Pretty basic. That is our media tab. Let's jump over to listings. Business listings online. This is a big part of our dashboard and also a very large service that our clients are taking advantage of when it comes to listing management. So when we talk about business listings online, what is that? What does that mean? These are going to be how people are finding your physical properties when it comes to organic, non-organic keyword searches against certain directories. So a directory could be apartment.com, or I'm sorry, apartment ratings or something, right? So one of those different directories could have apartments near me. And that is a directory you need to monitor and make sure you're keeping up to date when it comes to some of those keyword searches. And what the idea looks like is when you have an apartment guide, what is my overall rating or average accuracy across these different directories? These are all the ones we monitor today. I think there's like 42 total. There's more, obviously, we can add more later. But the idea is to monitor these actual providers and then seeing what my accuracy levels are, what my name, my address, my phone number, any new listings that have been created over time. Listings do change. On average, a listing will change every 7 days. Suggested edits are being made. Somebody's going in and they're gamifying the system from Google. As you guys all know, from those, you get like suggested edits. You get certain Google points and all that information. There are also ways to edit that information from competitors, right? Competitors are going in, they're changing your phone number, they're changing your address, maliciously changing your listing, which happens quite a bit. So our team is monitoring, one, the listings, but also pushing live to those listing accuracy details for what the source of truth might be. And the source of truth would be on the summary page. We're showing you what's been found, what's mismatched, but the source of truth is your expected listing online. So expected, we get your name, your address, your phone number, your hours of operation, your website, all that information is expected. Then we have things that are being found. So what's being found on apartments? So we get different names, we get different phone numbers, we get different hours of operation, no categories are being found. That is information that's being changed online. So we want to call those out. One, we're calling it out in red. This is a phone number that's mismatched. This is Woodland Meadows, Woodland Meadow, so a little bit different on spelling. But the idea is to call out the discrepancy. One, you can monitor it, and then with our listing management package, we will fix it for you. We have a team of experts that are on the back end that are always monitoring and updating different business listings online based on the criteria that you gave to us. Expected is your source of truth. Anything that deviates away from that, we will call it out. So that's the summary. We also have like optimization pages, which are going to show you the different providers of how many are mismatched, which ones are mismatched in general. We also do missing. Missing listings are huge across our industries, right? We want to make sure we're creating those right business listings online so that if you don't have a Facebook page, you don't have an Apple's Maps page, we will help you create those pages, make sure that information is correct, and go from there. Duplicate pages are notorious for certain directories, like Facebook, for example. Facebook, as you guys may not know, way back in the day, used to be able to check into locations. If you didn't have a Facebook page already created and you tried to check in, Facebook was just creating pages. It was super frustrating for business owners because they're like, where'd this page come from? Now I have to monitor it. I'm getting reviews on that page. People are trying to call my phone number. It's not accurate. So that is a duplicate listing online. You can never have to remove a Facebook page if you ever knew that. Our team will merge those together, create a single URL so you're being found easily, simply, and more effectively across these different listings and directories here. So any questions so far just on business listings online, what they look like, how they're being found? That's the first piece. There are some reporting in here as well, which I can show you in a sec, but I'll pause there just for a sec. Good. Let's go into the search analytics report. Oh, no, I can't do that. I don't have credentials. Sorry, but this is more or less your actions and your search analytics against each one of your locations. When you go in here, you'll be able to see different phone numbers, driving directions, search analytics against branded and unbranded keywords, things like that. So we'll go into that right now, but that is some more information that we do have within the dashboard. Since we are collecting your Google My Business data already, we can show that on the page. So let's go into rankings. Average maps rankings online. So how are you being found, but what also, how are your keywords being trending over time? So once we have like real accurate data in here, we can actually update this as much as we want. But the idea is to go in and add certain keywords to each one of your properties that, that people might be searching for. So if I live at Ridgewood Apartments, that's pretty hard for somebody to search Ridgewood Apartments. That's a very small piece of your branded keyword searches. What they're actually searching for is going to be apartments near me, apartment complex, facilities near me. Those are keywords. That's how we're being tracked and being found online. The idea is to outrank your competitors at all costs, right? So I'm looking for an apartment in my town and I don't see Ridgewood Apartments anywhere within my searches. It's going to be almost impossible for me to stumble across that unless I'm driving past it, right? Or I'm being advertised. But the idea is to track keywords and understand how you're being ranked according to certain page views. So for apartment building, your average is 32 on Google, average 38 on Yellow Pages, 34 on Yelp. You also can click this as well, and it'll like drop down certain locations. But also the idea is to track and edit your keywords. So these are 3. Each property gets up to 10 keywords per property we can add in the dashboard. So if there's certain keywords the SEO team is tracking and ranking, if you already have some used for your website, we want to make sure we put those in the dashboard. But those are certain tracking keywords, I guess, across different search results. said this before, we got certain filters up here before, local versus web. This is like local search versus web search. And then we also have providers we're monitoring, as well as the actual date ranges. Page 1 rankings is going to show how many of your actual properties are on page 1 when it comes to these 5 directory sites. Pretty basic. Once we have more data in there from your actual properties and are tracking the right keywords, that will begin to populate this page. And the idea is that this yellow line will go up. We want to obviously respond to reviews, clean up listings, post out to social, monitor the negative attributes that are coming through the dashboard. And if you do all those things in the right way, then search results will go up. We want your search results, we want your rankings to go up, we want people to be found, or I guess finding your actual properties and booking, you know, long-term leases and all that information. So that's kind of the idea behind it. Let's jump into our analytics. So we had the question on reports. Great question. There are certain reports we can create and customize within the dashboard. So this is our analytics tool, more or less for executive reporting. There are reporting capabilities throughout the dashboard that we're showing, store comparisons, download pages, that info. But the analytics is going to be these actual reports that you can create and download yourselves and maybe send out to executives based on the criteria that you have. So we can also, let's just go and create a new report. We'll go and create a template. We have 2 already created. One's a review summary, one's a listing progress report. For the review report, there are ways to customize this pretty heavily. We have, I think, like close to 40 or 50 different actual reports that we can show you, or I guess components. This is a component, review snapshot. You always can go in here and edit if you like, or replace it. But the idea here is to go in and go, okay, I really like that pulse one that Kevin was talking about before. What is my overall average sentiment over time against my actual properties? Let me see that in the report. You also have the sentiment distribution, which is really cool, showing you like the actual positive, neutral, and negative around certain keywords. So we can drop that in here. So property experience. You can customize these reports by showing you actual date ranges. So show me the last 3 months of data, compare it to the previous period, and also add some filters in here. You can add filters that might be things like show me just a single account or a certain group of locations, content providers for just Google or Facebook or Yelp, certain topics of conversation. Obviously, very, very customized when it comes to reporting. The idea here is to go and edit and insert, and I just inserted that one report right into my analytics that fast. There's no advanced coding behind it or anything like that. It's really just what kind of report do you want to create, drop it in here, and then you can edit. You can also add more rows. You do get up to 4 components per report, and in each report, you get 3 reports per user. Unlimited number of users in the dashboard, but the idea for myself, if I wanted to create a report for a client or even for my own properties, I can go ahead and do this. I can download it. That's how you save the report. So once you save it, you can then download it, which is going to create a PDF file. You also can share it across different users or accounts. And then you also can share it with a URL. So if I share this as a URL, great. You're going to take the URL and anyone else can take it from there. So pretty advanced, but also easy to use. It's very simple to kind of play around with reports and share them across users, but also a very popular feature within ReputationBuilder. So,
excellent.
That being said, that's about 40 minutes, and we got about a few minutes left in the demo, AJ. So I'm pretty much all set on my side.
Yeah. So if we can go back, to the slides, Kevin. Tim, I think again from your interactions with a lot of our clients, you've heard what the impact is for a lot of the these tools that help them manage their reputation. Can you talk a little bit about what impact they've seen from this tool?
Yeah, I won't bore everyone with too many stats and numbers here, but the big 3 that you thought high level across all of our client base we could share was, on average, 70% increase in the local search visibility. We've got a 25% increase in click to directions and a 23% increase in click to calls. So those, I guess, just some high level stats on average. You know, this tool certainly can have an impact on your business. And we've had a lot of positive feedback so far. But again, we kept it, you know, pretty high level. There's a lot of different pieces that we could dig into here, but we wanted to keep it high level. But if you want to schedule a demo to dig into any of the specifics to the tool, or you want to just jump on a call and ask more detailed questions, feel free to reach out to your sales manager or your account manager. If you're not familiar with those, you can give us a call, 866-472-2344. We'd love to hear from you, talk more details about the tool and kind of the benefits we've seen.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Tim, and thanks so much, Kevin. Lynn, is there anything else before we wrap up?
No, I just want to thank you, Kevin and Tim, for providing us with such great information, and let everyone know how much we appreciate your time today, and to be on the lookout in your email over the next day or two for the recording. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon.